Hi guys, this is Richard Yi. Today is May 27th, 2011. Today I want to talk about high interest loan. And there's a really wealthy entrepreneur in China recently who committed suicide because he has borrowed some higher interest loan and couldn't pay back the interest. Well, after his death, the media immediately blamed the lender for his death. Well, I think most people, when they view the economic matters, they only see what's obvious, and they don't see the real reason behind it. So I want to take this opportunity kind of to explain what's really happening. Well, let me put it this way. The reason why high interest loan exists is because of monopoly. Well, you might think, well, how does monopoly link with high interest loan? Well, but you have to know that in China, uh, private lending, especially lending between from citizens to citizens, is prohibited. Large amount of lending, of course. Um, Therefore, entrepreneurs, mostly entrepreneurs, they need capital, right? It's either to expand their business or to maintain their business. They need capital, and the only way that they can get capital is to borrow, right? Well, you mostly borrow, or you can get it from running a business. But most companies don't have that much cash sitting aside, so most of the time they borrow. But when they borrow, they either borrow from angel investors, which is really hard to borrow, or they borrow from the government, which is also hard to borrow. And the third way, which is widely used in those Western countries, is to borrow from those private lenders. Well, the problem is in China, the third-party private lenders are prohibited by the government. Why? Because government fear there might be risk in the financial system that might bring risk to the financial system, and therefore the government prohibits it. Well, by not allowing private capital to be flowing around, between lenders and borrowers, that kind of undermines the economy a lot. And you know, by setting it up, but prohibiting lending, that creates a monopoly for the existing lenders. There are lenders in the black market, of course, because there's demand for loans, right? So definitely there exists a black market if the government prohibits it, and the black market rate will be extremely high because of lack of competition, and that's mainly created by the government. So instead of blaming his death on the lender, the media should really focus on blaming the government for his death, because it's government who made it so hard for him to get money, and the only way he can get money is through borrowing from those uh, high interest charge lenders. And my solution is kind of, in a sense, similar. I mean, not similar, but kind of, I think, much better, is to have the government allow private lenders to lend money to businesses or to individuals, because in the market economy, when entrepreneurs need money to expand business, they need capital, and that capital either come from saving, which is China has a lot, but if the government prohibits lending of saving, then in a sense that's not doing the best for the economy. And if China really wants to have a really strong economy in the future, really competitive, and not relying on exporting to the Western countries, then China must, starting from now, to start building a really firm grounding in grounding in its economy. That's why I think China should now starting to kind of remove those prohibitions and move into a direction that's more toward capitalistic or capitalism. Let the free market allocate resources. I think that's much more superior than the current system that China has, which is a mix of command economy, which has the central government making decisions for the market instead of the market making decisions for itself. And definitely, that's the market making decision for itself, which is capitalism, is much more superior because um, the aggregate intelligence is much more superior than centralized intelligence. So I think after the government, you know, privatize the lending market so that people do lend themselves, the market forces will itself regulate the market, and therefore the capital can better be allocated. I think that's a really good idea. And thank you for listening. And maybe I'll plug again soon. Take care. Bye.